Hey everyone, Chen here. I'm so excited because on January 1st, 2025, we announced the pre-order for my brand new book, My Life at Shutter Speed. This is my life's work in one single book, and it's finally here after all these months. I'm gonna go ahead and do like a little unwrapping and a preview of the book. I'm gonna explain as much as I can in detail what it's about, what's in here, what to expect, so you can choose if you want to pick it up for yourself or a friend that is into car culture. Hey everyone, my new website just went live, camerasandcarculture.com. That's where you can pick up my new book as well as prints, and you get to see a little preview of what's to come. We'll go ahead and start off with the cover. Every single photo was so important for me. I went through 5 million pictures, essentially my entire life's work, and I whittled it down to about 2,700 or so. When I talk about 5 million pictures, that's actually a pretty conservative estimate because I have two camera bodies, both 1DX cameras that have over 1 million actuations each. One of them had 1.1, one of them still has 1.2, and it's still a camera that we use today for remote camera duties. During my really heavy years of shooting, I was hitting about 350 to 400,000 photos a year, which was averaging about 700, 750 photos per day, every single day. Which of course means some days I wouldn't shoot at all, and then some days I would shoot 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 photos. Of course, my hit rate wasn't so high, but that's not the point. I needed to shoot that much to be able to get the shot that I was looking for. One thing that is really interesting to me when I look at these photos and when I look through this book is the fact that I can just point out pretty much any photo in here, and I can talk about the moment that I was there, the project that led up to this photo, or how long it took to create this photo, or what this photo actually represented. It's crazy because it really does bring me back. It brings me to all the moments that I experience to photograph every single one of these pictures. So when you're looking through all these photos and you see all the different stories, while they're interesting storytelling or interesting, beautiful car photos to the viewer, they mean so much more to me. Every single photo just shows up one time, including all the ones that I chose for the cover and the slipcase. You'll see on the back of the slipcase there is a ISBN number, and that is just like a little tag, but it's not actually taped onto the book. It's taped onto just the plastic wrap here. That way it still doesn't cover just this one shot that I took of Toshiki Yoshioka at Pikes Peak in 2011. So the slipcase is just a way to protect the book itself, but it also gave me a way just to give you a little preview of what's in the book. It's a bunch of photos from different eras of my photography. You'll see it says Life at Shutter Speed, 2 decades of Larry Chen photography on the front here. On the back, there's no text at all. It's just a tile of images. There's no rhyme or reason why they're here, just like a sprinkle of all different types of cars. You see Mario Andretti here, you see Fernando Alonso here, you see Frederick Osbo, Ken Block, a bunch of different people here. On the edges of the slipcase, there's this cool gloss print that says 2 decades of Larry Chen photography. It says Life at Shutter Speed here, it says Larry Chen, and then it also says Carrara Media. The front cover is a photo that I took at Pikes Peak in 2014. For whatever reason, the stars aligned perfectly for this shot. It was perfect cloud cover, and it was just the right time for all the competitors to come up this area, which is called Double Cut. And the sunrise was just perfect in terms of timing. If I remember correctly, it was just a different time of year they were running this race, which allowed us to shoot the sunrise well before they started. Now, when we're shooting Pikes Peak, it seems like they'll start the cars well before the sun rises, so it's still dark when the first cars go up. So it was just a different time period, and it allowed us to get this sort of shot because we did a really long exposure just for the shot. The fun thing about this is there's a gloss effect on the actual road and the lights. So when you move the book and you turn it in the light, there's kind of like a shimmer effect, almost as if you could see the lights moving. And I thought that was something really fun that the Carrara Media folks put together for me. The back cover is another photo that means so much to me. It's of Rally de Catalunya. It's of Ken Block. The stage called for one single donut around this roundabout. And I remember clearly Ken telling me that if he was falling behind on the rally and if he was going a little slow and if he wasn't going for fastest on the stage, he would just do 2 donuts instead of 1 in order to really stoke out the crowd. And as he was coming around for a second donut, that's kind of when everybody was getting so stoked and they were cheering and they were just happy that the true showman, he was just doing something that he wanted to do for fun and just to give everyone a fun show, because everyone else was just coming, doing their 1 donut and leaving. The first photo that you see is something that means so much to me. This photo cost $70,000 to create. I shot this photo from a really great project that I did with my friends from Pennzoil and also Bring a Trailer. They auctioned me off for 8 hours to do whatever car photography you wanted me to do anywhere in the US. It went to the 43 Institute, which, as you folks know, it's Ken Block's charity. I put myself out there for a good cause, and I honestly had no idea what it was gonna do. I would have been happy if somebody bought 8 hours of my time for $5,000, and it hit that right away. It went to $5,000, and I was like, oh, cool, great. I'm gonna do this fun shoot for somebody, and the $5,000 would go to a good cause. But as time went on, the bidding went higher and higher. As the auction was about to close, it kept going and going and going and going and going. And it went all the way almost to $70,000, just shy of it. But I did end up doing the photo shoot, and I haven't published any photos from the shoot. Part of it is because the collection owner is very private, and he eventually does want me to tell the story of the collection, but for now he has allowed me to publish this one photo. So that's why it's something that means so much to me. You know, Ken's family and Ken himself has done so much for me. So I want to do everything in my power to give back and give other individuals the opportunity to pursue their dream in action sports and also in this industry. So the car itself is a B&R 34 Nismo Fine Spec that was built by Omari Factory. So it's well over $1 million build. It's something that they acid dipped and built from the ground up. This really pretty much is the newest R34 GTR you can potentially buy. It is a brand new car. Second page is one of only 2 photos in this entire book that I did not take. My partner in crime, Louis Yo, he shot this in Japan in 2020 before the shutdown. It was around Tokyo Auto Salon time. I was at HKS and he shot this great photo of me just doing my thing, shooting this Group A R32 GTR. This lays out pretty much all the chapters and all the major pages in this book. We have the foreword by my good pal Jeff Zwart, somebody that I really look up to, And then I have the afterword written by Magnus Walker, somebody that I've been working with for so long, and I really admire him as well. The first person that I reached out after I knew I was going to make this book was Jeff Swart for a little bit of advice. Also to ask him if he would do the honor of writing the foreword for me. And he wrote such a great foreword, and it's just so cool to be able to work hand in hand with him, because I've said it time and time again, I've had pretty much the same career as Jeff, but it's just 35 years apart. He started as a photographer, and now he's a director and a driver. And I feel like I'm kind of taking baby steps to that goal. But it's funny, I chose this photo not realizing that Ken is actually in the photo in the corner, out of focus, but that wasn't the point. You know, I chose this photo because of Jeff's smile holding the flags, and he's just stoked that we were done filming Climbkana. But I thought it was so funny that Ken photobombed this. Honestly, I didn't even notice until this was printed in the book. I did write an introduction, and I did do so much more writing than I expected. I absolutely poured my heart out on every page I possibly could. For about 3 months, I was still doing my normal gig. I was still traveling the world, taking pictures. And what I would do is I would have my laptop on me on the plane, or if I was in the airport, or if I was in transit anywhere, I would just bust out that laptop and I would just go through these pictures. I would go through the digital copy of this book, and I would just write. I would write as much as I could to really put as many stories as possible in here that maybe I didn't tell before, or it's something that meant a lot to me. I just wanted to have some reading material in here. I didn't want it to be just photos. So I'm glad I spent the time on that. The book is segmented into a bunch of sections where it's different eras of my work. And the book is also segmented into year by year coverage, but it's backwards chronological. So it actually starts in 2024, which I think is my latest and greatest work, and it goes all the way back to 2004. Granted, it also means that in 2024, I wasn't shooting as much as I was in 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, around that era. I guess you could say my progression was shooting very little in 2004 and then eventually ramping up all the way to maybe 2015, 16, 17, I think is the peak of my photography in terms of how much I shot. And then once I hit 2017, 2018, the YouTube era started, and then it started going down. I'm shooting a lot less because I'm shooting about half video and half photo. But that's not to say the photos are getting any worse. I'm just shooting less, and I'm a lot more choosy in terms of what I'm able to shoot. The pages are laid out in a way where they either complement each other in terms of like photos or storytelling, or the type of event, or the theme, or in this case, it's all Sungkang from this one project that I did. And if you keep going, there's words paired with certain photos, captions. At one point, I did have to let this part go. While I'm such a stickler on every single page being perfect, the photos pairing up nicely, complementary colors, so much of the little nuances that make it a good looking photo booth, something that has a very good presentation. I just couldn't. There's just not enough time in my day to go into that much detail with the book, but I'm glad I handed it off to the folks at Carrara Media. They did such an incredible job with laying it out, and they did such a good job with placing the photos and choosing the photos. At first, we were thinking that we would able to cram 2,000 photos into this book because it was 20 years of shooting and it would be about 100 photos per year. that got thrown out the window pretty quick, because then I was thinking, oh, well, this photo is important to me, or this photo is important to me, or this photo is important to me. There's so many photos that are significant in my career. This, without a doubt, is 100% a great snapshot of my life's work. This is a project that I thought about 10 years ago, but I'm actually glad it didn't come to fruition, because I feel like it wouldn't have been a complete book. I love round numbers, and I think 20 years of shooting is a pretty good timestamp. It definitely doesn't mean that I'm gonna slow down anytime soon, but I figured it's just a good time to pause and reflect on what I've done up until this point. Because at first I was thinking, okay, after I'm done shooting Gymkhana 10 with Ken Block, I figured that would be a good stopping point to showcase everything I've done up until that point. But I've shot so much since then, and honestly, I'm just so glad that I waited until now. The reason why I also did it backwards chronological is because I feel like it's good for me to show my latest and greatest work first, and then you can go look through and just see the de-evolution of my style, of my photography. When you look at a lot of my early work, you can tell that it's not so much about composition, complementary colors, about good images. It's so much more about storytelling. I just happened to be there at the right time, at the right place, at the right track, at the right corner, with the right car, all of that. And it was more just, I'm capturing the moment, telling the story, showing the people that I was with. It was so much of that. As time went on, I developed my craft, I developed my skill, I developed my relationships, and I also developed the look that I have. And you can tell as time went on, I just photographed so many more different types of cars, not just drifting or not just road racing. I feel like this is a pretty good snapshot of car culture in our generation. So there's so many characters in here that are still active, still around, that still race, that still work on cars, that still build cars. So I feel like it's a fun thing to have something like this. And if you know someone who's gonna be there, some individual that is in this book, you can have them sign the book, and then it becomes like a fun little yearbook. There's a couple full 2-page spreads in this book, especially showcasing some of the panoramics I have. The one that I'm really proud of is something that's kind of in the middle of the book. It is of Ken Block at Gymkhana. I would have to say that this is without a doubt my most popular and I think my most famous photo. And of course it's of Ken going off Evo Corner during the filming of Gymkhana at Pikes Peak. This shot is something that I'm very proud of, and I'm so glad I was able to get this because it really tells the story of Ken and how much he was pushing the limit of what was possible, especially during the filming of such an epic video. A couple of things I'm really excited about. I'm doing a public book launch. So if you want to come see this book in person, if you want to purchase one, and if you want me to sign it for you, I'm doing an event October 5th at the Peterson Auto Museum. It starts at noon and goes to 5, and it also happens to be the last day of the Ken Block exhibit. So if you're in LA, or if you are in nearby states, or if you want to fly in, come and check out the exhibit and come check out the book. I'll be there with merch. I'll be there with the book. I'll sign as many books as possible. I'll sign merch. I'll sign Hot Wheels, diecast, Mini GT, whatever you want me to sign, I'll be there for you guys to come and enjoy cars. If you want to show your car, you do have to pay to park in the garage, but if you want to just spectate, you can do that too. It's going to be a really fun time, so hope to see you guys there. I also wanted to announce that I'm selling this book on the SEMA show floor. SEMA made an exception for me this year because I'm going to have my own booth. I'm the artist of the show, and I'm so excited to be able to showcase my photography all around the venue. I'm gonna do daily signings. I'm gonna spend most of my time at my booth. Everybody is welcomed. It's gonna be in the central hall. It's going to be across from Anti-Gravity and also across from Hoosier Tire. We're gonna have a fun Canon photo booth there. It's kind of like a wedding style photo booth where you can come and bring your friends and you can take pictures and you could take away these little fun mementos of photos with you and your friends, or you could take photos with me. It's gonna be a really good time. This is something that I just wanted to do also because so much of what we consume in terms of content is just a quick, fleeting moment. You look at it on Instagram and you scroll away, or you see it on a blog and you read it one time and that's it. I just wanted to do something that you can physically touch, something that you can physically hold, something that you can pass on generations. Because one of the things that I always like to talk about is the fact that when I'm long gone, I want my photos to live on, and I want people in the future who are into cars and the culture surrounding it to look back on these photos and see, okay, wow, so this is what car culture was like in this generation. This page is really interesting for me because over here is my first ever Instagram post, and I remember exactly the day, the moment that I posted this photo. I've always been an Android user, and for a while when Instagram was just on iOS, I was so jealous because it was an app I feel like that was just designed for somebody like me, somebody that wanted to share photos specifically of cars. The day that Instagram launched for Android, I downloaded it, I signed up, and I posted this photo. This is my first ever post. This was July 27th, 2012. I'll never forget it. It was at the media check-in at the 24 Hours of Spa, and this MP4 12C McLaren was parked in the parking lot, and I took a photo with my digital SLR, which I think at the time was a 1DX Canon first generation. So I took that with my 35mm 1.4, and then I took the very same photo on my phone. And at the time, you're only able to post square photos, and you're also only able to post from Instagram. You couldn't actually choose a photo on your device. So I had to just post it right there, add a filter, and then I posted it. And I was just so happy to be able to join the crowd, and I've been stuck on Instagram ever since then. I hope you guys enjoyed this preview of Life at Shutter Speed. This is my first book. Hopefully I can do a lot more books, but right now, if you want to order this, it's available on Amazon. If you order it on Amazon, I would appreciate if you left a review. If you are outside of the US, I suggest you go to carrarabooks.com. That's where you can order it, and we're shipping worldwide. This would be such a great gift for a car enthusiast in your family.